Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about cheap and easy backup file storage solutions for filmmakers, kind of talking you guys through my entire workflow from when I shoot a project, what goes into my backup process, transferring footage, making sure it's stored somewhere safe. So hope this video would be helpful to you, as a lot of the ones I'm seeing online focus on more expensive RAID systems or network attached storage or something like that. I hope to get there one day, but I just wanted to make this video to kind of show you guys my kind of budget friendly approach to how I back up my footage, and then finishing off with how I actually deliver to clients and then archive my projects. So hope that something in here would be helpful if you are freelancing full-time or starting out your video production business. I hope this would be helpful to you. The first place your footage is going to need to live is on an editing drive. I would recommend an SSD. I use the SanDisk Extreme Pro 2 terabyte. 2 terabytes has been great for me over the years. I probably will eventually get more of these or a larger one, as some of the projects are getting larger in size, but overall this has been great. And this is where we're going to put active projects while they're being edited. Next place our footage is going to live is on our backup drives. And so for this, I use two Western Digital Elements 5 terabyte drives. Again, this is for active projects while they're being edited. These are going to live on backup A as well as backup B. I really like these Western Digital drives because they're the cheapest option from a known brand per terabyte, and they do not require a power cable, and they are very small and compact, unlike some of the options from G Drive. And so I love being able to take these drives with me on the go or easily swap them. I do not love the larger storage options that have the tower and then you need an additional power cable. I find those quite annoying, and they don't actually really give you that much cost savings when it comes to per terabyte. So these 5 terabyte models have kind of been perfect for me. So after those first few drives, we now have our footage on 3 different drives. And while for some this might be good enough, I take it a step further and I archive all active projects in the cloud. For this, I use Dropbox Essentials. It includes 3 terabytes of cloud storage and then a few additional things like Dropbox signatures for contracts, as well as Dropbox transfers. And this is going to be $25 a month. And again, when I'm thinking about a cloud backup, this is for active projects only, and this is sort of a last resort. So I would only touch these files if something happened to my SSD and my backup drives. I'm going to be pulling from those first, as uploading and downloading from the cloud is a lot slower than just working off a drive. I landed on Dropbox after using Google Drive for quite some time. I always had issues uploading and downloading files. For some reason, never worked well for me. I was always having issues. The downloads would fail. And so I ended up switching to Dropbox, and I've been really happy. I primarily upload to Dropbox using the macOS app and how it integrates with Finder. But when you do this, the files will take up space on your computer's hard drive while they're uploading, and then you can free up the space by clicking online only. This is a little bit of like a quirk that you have to keep in mind if you don't have a ton of space on your computer's hard drive to store those files temporarily. You may need to look into uploading using the browser. But for me, I seem to have the least amount of issues just uploading with it integrated into macOS. So those are the 4 places that these files live while I'm actively editing them. I now want to talk about how I go about managing these transfers. So for this, I use software called Offshoot. It's also been called Hedge, but that is their parent company. But essentially, this piece of software allows you to set up all of your sources in the left-hand column, all of your destinations in the right-hand column, and simply with one button, hit transfer, and it'll queue all your transfers and verify that everything was copied over exactly as it was on the original cards. This has become an essential part of my backup workflow as I've continued to work on larger and larger projects. I do not want to risk something happening to the footage where I format my SD card and the copy that is on my backup actually isn't very great. So essentially this eliminates that risk, helps me have peace of mind knowing that everything is going to get transferred as I need it to. I often let this run overnight, so I'll plug in all of my cards before going to bed and set up a transfer. When I wake up in the morning, I can see all of the green status bars that things were transferred correctly. Instead of, if you just use Finder, you drag everything over and it runs, and in the morning, your screen's blank and you just assume that it transferred. So I remember back when I would do that, I would go in and check, like, did it get all the files or did everything get over to this backup drive? I don't think there's a great way that Mac lets you know if there was an error, what specifically it was, and you're kind of left guessing, where the error was. So Offshoot will actually notify you, hey, there was a error transferring this file, and you can simply pick up where you left off by restarting the transfer, and it'll make sure that everything gets over as it exists on your SD cards. As far as the workflow when using Offshoot, I simply connect all my cards to the computer. I'll go ahead and create new folders on all the drives where this footage is going to live for that specific project. And then I'll load in everything to Offshoot for the transfer. So I put sources on the left, destinations on the right. And again, one copy is going to the SSD, one copy is going to the backup A, one copy to backup B, and then another copy to Dropbox. And you can actually set this up using the Mac hard drive disk inside of Offshoot to select Dropbox if you have it installed on your computer. So all of these transfers can happen at once. I've been using Offshoot for the last few years, and it's really become an essential part of my backup workflow. You guys can buy a one-time license, I think for around $149, and this gets you access to the software as well as updates for a year. And once your year's up, you can continually using it, so it's not a subscription-based model. You can choose to resubscribe if you want new features that are added in those future updates, but you continue to get access to the app. They have a pro version that is an upgrade from this that gets you access to a ton more features, a ton that I don't really use. I mainly use it for basic transfers, but you guys can definitely look into if you're a DIT or someone doing a lot more advanced transfers and you're needing to specify certain parameters, definitely look at the pro version. It might be something you're interested in. I also love that there is a free 10-day trial that gets you full access to the app. This is originally what I did when I originally signed up and gave me a chance to really try out the software, see if it worked for me, and gave me confidence when buying. If you guys are interested in checking it out, I'm going to leave a link below where you guys can save 10% off with promo code BLAZE. When it comes to delivering final files to clients, I make use of Dropbox Transfer, which is included in my Dropbox Essentials membership. And essentially, this lets you send up to 100 gigabytes via email for a download link without taking up any of your 3 terabyte space. This is amazing because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of delivering files to clients. You can simply upload them and then set your expiration date, your password, and it also notify you when the client downloads the files. So really streamlines that process. And I love that it does not take up space in that 3 terabytes of storage. To end this video, we're just going to quickly talk about archiving. So once a project has been completed, I'll wait a few weeks to make sure the client is happy, but then I will move to archive the project off of my SSD. And so for this, I use those Western Digital 5 terabyte drives again. I have one specifically for archives, and I just keep one copy. I will transfer files from the SSD using Offshoot directly to this archive drive, and I will just get new ones as they fill up. In addition, I'll put the final deliverables on Vimeo. So that is a second copy of those. If something ever were to happen and the client needs them again, I know that they're being stored safely on Vimeo and I can easily send them their way. Depending on the projects you're working on, you may want to back up those archive drives if that's something that is important to you. If you're going to, years down the line, need to be referencing super important footage, that's not really what I'm looking to do, and why I don't do that due to the cost and really not needing to stay attached to projects that I've done several years ago. But just keep that in mind, as everyone's needs and workflow is really different. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please let me know if you have a question down below, as I probably didn't get to everything in this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.